As we were getting set up for the Rosary before this Mass, my friend Manny came in and was talking to me about what he's been praying about for all the souls in purgatory. I said, "That's great, Manny." I said, "Today we're going to remember and pray to St. Paul Miki and his companions. We're going to pray for my mom on her anniversary, and then everybody else who comes with prayers that we unite in this beautiful Mass." But at times, as we know, every one of us has doubts. And that's what I'd like to preach about today, beginning with today's Gospel from St. Matthew. This particular passage is known as the Great Commission, and it takes place after the resurrection of Jesus, as we heard, up on a mountain. This final scene also takes place in Galilee, which actually brings the story full circle. For it was in that area that Jesus grew up. It's where the first apostles were called, and it's where the message of the kingdom was first preached. Yet despite all of this, we hear that after the apostles saw the resurrected Jesus, they worshiped, but they doubted. In one sense, this should help all of us to understand the humanity of the apostles. These were men who had witnessed the signs and miracles of Jesus. They had heard his preaching, his explanations. They saw him face to face after the resurrection. Yet still, they struggled to believe that everything he said, including his presence, was possible. This inner battle to believe in the presence and the power of God is just as real today, in one way or another, in each of our souls and minds. One of my priest friends, years and years ago, was on his retreat 1 week before his ordination. All priests make a retreat 1 week before we're ordained, and it's great, except one problem. My friend wound up in an emergency room. That's not normal retreat fare. He called his spiritual director and he said, "Father Bill, you won't believe this." Father Bill asked what was going on. My friend replied, "Well, I've got gout and I've got doubt." Well, thankfully, the doctor gave my friend the right medication. And probably more importantly, Father Bill gave him the right spiritual guidance that allayed my friend's crisis of faith. One reason I've always remembered that story is because to one degree or another, we all face challenges to believe in God's presence and the power that he has in this world, in particular in our own lives. When the apostles found themselves uncertain, it was Jesus who strengthened them by stating his authority when he said, "All power in heaven and earth has been given to me." And then he conferred upon them the missionary mandate when he said, "Go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you." Jesus bolsters their faith by reminding them of his identity and his authority, which allows them to move beyond their doubts to fulfill the mission that he has prepared for them to carry out. He tells them to also teach all people of all nations to observe, to live by all that he has commanded them. Jesus tells them that the entire world is their mission territory. There are no no-go zones, as evidenced by today's martyrs, St. Paul Miki and his companions. Jesus passed the baton to the apostles, who did the same to their successors, all the way up till today. Likewise, our family members, who have passed the faith along to each of us, have done so by overcoming challenges to believe along the way. In a particular way, I think about how my mom's going home to God, and perhaps your parents, your grandparents who have made the same journey, how each of them can serve as a catalyst for us. to share the faith in Jesus with our younger or even contemporary family members and friends. It is a faith that allows us to enjoy both the mountaintop experiences and to keep moving through the valleys of sadness. It is a faith that leads us to a way of life in imitation of Jesus. We've just heard St. Paul, where he reminds us of this when he says, "Yet I live no longer I, but Christ, who lives in me. I live by faith in the Son of God, who has loved me and given himself up for me." My brothers and sisters, may God bless you and your families this holy day as we live by faith in Jesus, the one who strengthens us in each way, in every day on our journey with him.